When they say they want to make America great again, it's because they want to go back to a whiter America, a less browner America. That is Stephen Miller's vision. What Stephen Miller is doing, Piers, just so your viewers know, Stephen Miller went to ICE and said, you better round up 3,000 people a day. He's given them an arbitrary number. And ICE people are saying, we can't do this. It's not possible. He said, just go to 7-Eleven, go to Home Depot, and just round people up. They're doing racial profiling, Piers. They're just grabbing brown people.
All right, this debate between Mehdi Hasan and Piers Morgan got heated fast. Mehdi throws down some big claims, and Piers does everything he can to dodge. This moment says a lot about both of them, so let's break it down.
I interviewed Joy Reid the other day, right, who was obviously at MSNBC for a long time, and she started ranting away about Trump and the deportation stuff that's going on. I just said to her, okay, how many people did Obama deport?
Okay.
No, you know it's one of my favorite questions. But what was striking was not just that she had no idea, which she admitted. She never bothered to find out, even though people like me have been telling everyone the number for a long time, to expose, actually, I think, a liberal double standard on this. But secondly, she said, I don't care. She didn't care how many people Obama had deported, even though he's by far pro rata the biggest deporter of people in American presidential history. So, my question for you about this would be, okay, I don't happen to think Trump has been that authoritarian. I think he pushes the courts as hard as he can.
Why?
But then he reigns back.
He's defied court orders.
The people that have been deported, where there was a big blow up and contention about it, they've come back and they're facing due process. That's not what an authoritarian does. He's cleaned up.
That's just not true, Piers.
Well, on the southern border, for example, I presume you would praise Trump for stemming the number of people coming illegally there, or would you not?
No, I don't praise somebody who tortures people in detention centres, and I don't think you should either. And you said a lot of things that weren't true. With regard to Joy Reid, who's a good friend of mine, I believe that what she meant, I'll tell you in a second. Let me just deal with Joy Reid. I believe Joy was talking about not caring because it's not relevant. I mean, Joy can speak for herself, but that's my interpretation of what she said. It's not relevant. Obama, first of all, and you tried this gotcha on me, I've written pieces in The Guardian attacking Obama's deportation record. It was a very bad record. And I've been critical of Joe Biden's immigration record. I was on MSNBC attacking Joe Biden's immigration record for being too Republican-esque. But that is not relevant to right now, because when we're talking about deportations, we're not just talking about numbers at the southern border. We're talking about what ICE is doing in what's called the interior of America, in LA, on the streets of New York, grabbing people off the streets, masked agents with no badges, no IDs, unmarked cars, grabbing American citizens, doing racial profiling of Latino gardeners or customers at Home Depot, putting them in detention, disappearing them like fascist countries do. When American citizens, veterans, a disabled veteran in LA, Piers, just disappeared off the street for 3 days. His family don't know where he's in. That is Pinochet Chile style.
But do you
stuff,
agree?
Right? I'm not saying it's the same, but I'm saying that is reminiscent. Okay. No, hold on, Piers. You had a long thing about, I just need to deal with your points, and you come back in. Okay. He has defied court orders. The Washington Post just did a study the other day of 160 lawsuits brought against him. They've defied 1 in 3 of those lawsuits. He hasn't given due process to people in El Salvador. People were tortured, Piers, in El Salvador. Kilmar Abrego Garcia talks about being sat on his knees all night long, being beaten, being deprived of food.
Well, actually, a lot of people have said that's nonsense.
I did. You opposed George Bush. But it's not nonsense. People have, what are you talking about? Congress members have gone to Alligator Alcatraz in Florida and talked about 35 people to a room, drinking water out of the toilets that they have to do a number 2 in. You opposed the Iraq war. I assume you opposed Guantanamo and Abu Ghraib at the time. I don't quite remember. But this is torture. This is what Trump, the guy you say is not authoritarian, is doing. And he's doing it to American citizens. Yeah, he's doing it to American. Well, he's not giving due process to American citizens. He's chucked out American children out of this country
let me get
without
a question
due process just earlier this year.
So here's the moment that really hit me. Mehdi Hasan straight up says, unmarked cars, no badges, American citizens getting grabbed like we're in some authoritarian state. And look, this isn't some wild exaggeration. Multiple outlets, Washington Post, AP, you name it, confirmed federal agents were out there in Portland doing exactly that. Even DHS later admitted the whole thing was sloppy and badly run. That's not fake news. That's on the record. But watch what Piers Morgan does here. He just shrugs it off with, well, Trump pushes, but he reins it in. Excuse me? That's not a defense. That's literally admitting the guy's testing the system every chance he gets to see what he can get away with. That's like saying, hey, don't worry, the arsonist stopped pouring gasoline after the fire department showed up. Come on. And then Mehdi drives it home. This is happening to citizens, not hypotheticals, not undocumented folks, actual U.S. citizens. And if you think that doesn't matter, wait till you see this. I've got a clip that proves the point better than any debate ever could.
Going through this.
You may remember this video. The sister of Andrea Velez hit record as a federal agent took her into custody during an immigration enforcement operation in downtown L.A.
Andrea Velez has yet to physically return to work near 9th and Main Street in downtown Los Angeles, where the 32-year-old works as a production coordinator for a shoe company.
I take it day by day.
That day, June 24th, Velez says her mom and sister had just dropped her off at work.
It was like a scene, like they were just ready to attack and chase.
Velez describes seeing unmarked cars and masked men in civilian clothing going after people.
And all I felt was that he grabbed and just slammed me to the floor.
Velez says she tried to tell the plainclothes agent who arrested her that she's a U.S. citizen.
He said that I was interfering with what he was doing, so he was going to arrest me. And that's when I asked him to show me his badge number, his ID, identification. I asked him for if he had a warrant, and he said I didn't need to know any of that.
Okay. Wow. Where do you even start with that? We just saw Andrea Velez, a 32-year-old U.S. citizen, literally slammed to the ground by ICE, locked up for 2 days, and left without water for 24 hours. And here's the kicker. She showed proof she was a citizen, and they ignored it. How does that even happen? Think about it. This isn't some theory about government overreach. This is a real person with constitutional rights, treated like they don't exist. And honestly, if you're a citizen watching this and you think you're safe, Andrea's story should snap you out of that. Because if they can do this to her, they can do it to anybody. And this is exactly why Mehdi was pressing so hard, because it's not just about Trump versus Biden, left versus right. It's about whether we accept this as normal government behavior. Because once you normalize it, good luck ever rolling it back.
I just don't think that you can ignore, as Joy Reid wanted to, what Obama did for 8 years as a Democrat president and as a black and as the first black president.
Piers, come on, Piers. I get that you need to do this both sides shtick for your show, but Obama is not relevant.
Shtick.
Obama did not defy the Supreme Court.
I actually do look at both sides.
Well, okay, point to me. Well, Piers, point to me then. I'll give you as long. I've got to go soon, but I'll give you as long as you want before I go. When did Obama defy the Supreme Court on immigration? He didn't. When did he defy lower court judges? He didn't. Joe Biden didn't either. So we're talking about the courts here, right? Judges, Trump-appointed judges, Piers. A Trump-appointed judge said earlier this year that an American child was expelled, deported from this country, even though you can't legally deport an American citizen, but was kidnapped and taken out of this country without meaningful process. That is the words of a Trump-appointed judge. You cannot find an equivalent for Barack Obama, and I carry no water for Obama on immigration. One thing I've got to say on undocumented folks, some of these people, not just here a few years, they picked up an Iranian woman, a grandmother in her front yard gardening, who'd been here since 1979. She came as a child. Her family claimed asylum after the Iranian Revolution. They picked up and detained her. This is insane. And by the way, the polls show, Piers, that Americans do want deportations, but when they're asked more detailed questions, do you support people who've been here for many years? Do you support people who've committed no crimes? Do you support deporting people who want a pathway to citizenship? They don't support deporting those people. They support, like you and I do, deporting violent criminals, which Biden was doing, Trump did, Obama did. Everyone agrees on that. What he's doing right now, and what Stephen Miller is doing, Piers, just so your viewers know, Stephen Miller went to ICE and said, you better round up 3,000 people a day. He's given them an arbitrary number. And ICE people are saying, we can't do this. It's not possible. He said, just go to 7-Eleven, go to Home Depot, and just round people up. They're doing racial profiling, Piers. They're just grabbing brown people, Latino folks off the streets who are American citizens. And they're saying very clearly why they want to do this, right? They want to make, when they say they want to make America great again, it's because they want to go back to a whiter America, a less browner America. That is Stephen Miller's vision. That is, you get Stephen Miller on Piers and ask him.
They've not said that. They've not said that.
Stephen Miller is a white nationalist. Stephen Miller is a white nationalist who spent a career enabling and promoting white nationalism. It's all on the record.
But there is no evidence Donald Trump wants to keep people in because of their skin colour or throw them out because of their skin colour.
Actually, Actually, there's a lot of reporting from the first term where he says, why can't we have more people from Sweden, less people from shithole countries? So I'm pretty sure I know what he was talking about when he was talking about Swedish folks.
Well, he's probably talking about the 7
views.
countries which Obama banned people from coming in from because of their terror record. Was he?
He didn't ban entire peoples from coming in. He
Actually,
put them on
he did.
A terror
that was
list,
the
which
farce
I don't
of
agree with.
That was the farce when Trump did it. The left all went nuts, and it turned out Obama done exactly the same thing.
He didn't ban
with the same
everyone from
countries.
coming in. By the way, Donald Trump in December 2015 said we need to ban every Muslim coming into the United States. Do you support that Islamophobic, racist position?
He said, if I remember accurately what he said, it was after an appalling terror attack where I think over 50 people got murdered. And he said, we're going to have a short-term suspension on people coming in from the same countries that Obama had done this to.
No, he didn't.
Until
he said every Muslim.
Until we figure out what's going on.
Not true, Piers. People can Google it right now. You're wrong and I'm right, as ever. He said all Muslims will be banned from coming into the United States. He didn't say anything about 7 countries. That's what it became when he came into office. But he said he wanted to ban all Muslims from coming in. Surely you disagree.
Now here's where Piers Morgan completely loses the thread. He tries to dismiss all of this by saying, well, there's no proof it's about race, or Obama did it too. Like, come on. Mehdi literally reads Trump's own words. Why can't we have more people from Sweden and fewer from shithole countries? If you can't see what that is, I don't know what to tell you. That's not subtle. That's not policy talk. That's straight up prejudice. And this is where you really see the contrast. Mehdi Hasan is talking about real people, real rights, and how much power we're comfortable giving the government. Piers, he's just deflecting, spinning, trying to soften what's already out in the open. So let me throw it to you. How much unchecked power are you actually okay with, knowing it won't always be your team in control? Let me know in the comments.